A dark night, a night not like others, I still remember it. A deep night under a tree, only my mom and I will talk about. I do not wish that night upon anybody, not even my worst enemy. May God preserve you from it. It was the night of Sunday, January 12, 2005 in my country, the Republic of Guinea. Following the announcement of election results in favor of the president in power, who was seeking a third term against his well-known opponent, there was no doubt that anxiety, panic, and confrontation between the ethnics of the two candidates. The president in power, who is of Maningo ethnicity, and his opponent, who is of Fula ethnicity, will arise. Not 1 hour after the proclamation of the results, we heard that two Fula ethnic persons had been killed in Hamdallah during the demonstration against the election result at the same night. Suddenly, we heard the death of several Fula people in a random demonstration. It was getting worse and worse. The conflict started to flame up between the two ethnic groups. Everything was overshadowed. The country was dead. And only the birds could make noise. People started to publish hate-filled videos on Facebook to incite violence and terror. In the quarters populated by Maningo and Fula, they began to kill each other, destroy their houses, even Fula's boutiques, because they are considered as the wealthiest ethnics. They have commerce in their hands. The country became a battlefield where people were rushing to reach their house not to be caught and considered as Maningo and get killed. Because Fula was revolted, involved in revenge. So even you were not Maningo, you were supposed to protect yourself in the mouth of Fula. It was terrible and disastrous. And I couldn't even imagine what my country was going through, seeing two ethnicities kill each other because of political issues. All with my child's eyes, I had no hope for the advancement of my country, and it will end in eternal darkness. My heart was broken. The policemen who should have protected the citizens from avoiding confrontation were unfortunately the ones who shot the protesters who were Fula. What a sad moment. Sad moment. I had tears in my eyes. I remember seeing people killed by the war weapons, laying in the streets, and the human blood fed the roads. During the night, I was with my beautiful light mom. I did not know even the problem that the country was currently facing. We were at her boutique and tried to go home. We realized that no cars were around, and we were so far from the house. It was about 8 p.m. Suddenly we saw some people running, some of them barefoot, but we did not know where they came from. We just heard, "Woti fafe fafe, fafe fafe, wigi fafe, de gemane yira fafe fafe fafe." Run, the cars, Fula people are coming with a machete to kill those who are not Fula. Run with your kids. If not, they will kill you now. They will kill you now. My mom and I were wondering who the cats were. Who are cats? Cats cannot kill someone. Suddenly, my mom realized that it was Fula. Because one day, one of her best friends came home to pay a visit to her. To speak secretly about Fula, she said, "Guards. She held my hand and ran barefoot. We finally entered unknown houses where the Fula woman go to find a peaceful shelter. When you look at my mom and I, if you are Guinean, you directly think we are Fula, because you are cute with light skin and the majority of Fula people are pretty and soft. However, we are not so. All at once in the house where we entered, there were fortunately Fula people. They started asking questions. Onto yarte kopulo? Ya kopulo dalaba? Ihi? Where do you come from? Are you Fula? And we retorted saying, you are Fula. You are Fula. The only sentence that we knew. Otherwise, we would be finished that night. They started to talk to us about Maningo people's actions in their language. Sitting and tired. We just replied, we have to eliminate them. They are wicked. They're not supposed to be in this society. You have to get up and struggle against their president to elect ours. The only strategy to use to survive. My mom said silently, God had accepted our worship and sacrifice. But she was not entirely stable. She was sweating and her heart was beating. I asked myself how we reach home. That night was an eternity. When I remember that night, I cried seeing my mom sweating from head to toe, worrying about her kid's life. The country plunged into terrible ethnic conflicts that affected the education and economic sector. No entry, no exit, everything was blocked. As most Guineans usually eat bread as breakfast like me, the bread lover, the bread is made by Fula people in the whole country. People could not have bread unless they were Fula. How come in the same country, the population who live, kill and hate each other when it comes to politics? It is unacceptable, seeing it without acting. It is essential and crucial to creating a strong, beloved community where anything could separate, destroy and affect our diverse community, characterized by several ethnics, languages and religions. Which should be an opportunity, not a threat. As Martin Luther King said, we have to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Darkness cannot die out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot die out hate, and love can do that. As a result, now is the time to get up, to raise our voices in order to struggle against ethno-strategic politics, tribalism, regionalism, and any disaster factor that is a barrier to the growth of our community. Because we have the same past, present, and future. We share the same blood and skin. It is time to think about our future, to have a better and bright future. To implement it, it is paramount to create a beloved community. The only thing that differentiates us from animals is because we think about our future. My Guinean and African brothers and sisters, listen to me lovely. The Creator has created us to be creative. I would like us to live together, breathe together, and die together. So we are one and inseparable, like the ant and the sugar. Together, let's build a thriving future.